I think the way you started off was the original way, when you went through like a big house and you honed and learned your skill. But what do you think about the revolution of the internet and it completely changing the game? So, for instance, me, I have no background in broadcasting, but I have an interest and I have a skill set in terms of communicating with people. So I'm able to now get my own equipment, set up, and put my content out there. Do you know what I mean? It's completely changed the whole game. So nowadays you got presenters who weren't like trained through the original school of presenting. You've got journalists who just set up their own journalism school in their own bedrooms. Like, how has that benefited you, or has it benefited you?
It's benefited. I think overall, with media, no one can really tell you're qualified.
100%.
Or say that you ain't got enough experience to do A, B, and C. So like I said, I went through the traditional way, but like everyone says, that was the way to get into a media house at the time, where I couldn't come and say to people, oh, you know what, I've got a YouTube channel, I've got a podcast, check it out. And some look and say, oh, there's actually some potential there. So I think it's definitely good, and it gives you access to connect with people a lot faster.
100%.
Yeah, so I think it is 50-50, and I think it just depends on how you use the platform. Some people can use it for good, like the way you're doing something positive. You're not trying to, just I say there's a podcast revolution. Now everyone wants to do a podcast now, and it's
becoming the new social media, most definitely. So before you say, oh, go and check out my Instagram page, now it's like, go and check out my podcast, because everyone has something to say, or everyone has an interest that they like to talk about. Everyone just likes to go in there and just talk rubbish. So
exactly,
it's becoming one of those things now. It's like, instead of checking out my Instagram, it's like, go and check out my podcast. Yeah, definitely.
So as long as it's filtered and you can, you're delivering something that's like timeless, like some of the things I've seen on your stuff, I think even in 2 years time it'll still be relevant. It's creating timeless content. So I think it's good that the whole social media internet wave, it allows people to be seen and to be heard a lot faster.
Most definitely. I think my reason in particular for starting the podcast was that I had loads of interest, like in various things, from politics to the sciences to the religion, and just like general discourse and ideas. But I wanted to share it with people. Do you know what I mean? And friends or close people by me were like, you should be sharing these ideas, or you should be doing more of it and expanding on it. But initially I was like, wait, I don't want to really put myself out there. It's long. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be out there. I'm not that type of guy. But then I feel like sometimes you have a duty to like contribute. You see what I mean?
Society,
yeah, most definitely. It's like, it's fair enough that we're constantly taken as we've been taken from the planet, but then what like, there's a quote that's going around nowadays, I keep on repeating it. It's like, what side of history do you want to be on? Do you know what I mean? And I want to be on the side of history that contributed, that done something, that learned something, because this podcast serves to me as a free consultation. Like, I'm talking to you who's been in the game, who's been presenting, who's been at the higher end, like you've interviewed high people, so I'm able to then learn from you. Do you see what I mean? And I'm talking to professors, I'm talking to people that are journalists, written various articles, so I'm getting free consultation, and at the same time I'm sharing the content with people out there, and I'm loving that idea because the feedback is great. Initially I thought, wait, who's genuinely gonna like it, because there's so much of it out there anyway, so I'm only gonna be like an additional person. But sometimes people prefer to listen to you, people prefer to look at you, people prefer to hear your voice, and that's what now is encouraging me to do more of it. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the surprising thing. You don't know who's watching and who's listening until it's out there. I'm sure even strangers might come up to you and be like, I really like what you're doing. Or, I've checked out your podcast. It's really good.